What's going on, folks? I'm here late night, midnight, recording this, the Unfiltered Podcast. I'm going to try to do this every day, or close every day as possible. Just felt compelled to come on here and talk. This will be on the Earnestly Speaking Unfiltered feed, not the Earnestly Speaking Podcast feed. We're going to try to do this every 10-15 minutes at a time. And I don't know, I'm actually just sitting here in my living room, dark living room. The kids are asleep. My wife is still at work, actually, so I have a couple minutes to dive in here real quick. That was actually Mastodon, one of my favorite bands. I actually saw those guys way back in 2005, 2006. I mean, I haven't really listened to much of the music recently, like much of their stuff as of late, but one of my favorite bands. Metal bands I got into years back. Now, today, kind of tough these days to get into, have time to discover new bands because, lifestyle's different now. I mean, I'm 39 now. When I was 29. I 29 was a little harder, but I didn't have kids at the time. But when I was 25, 24, 23, it was a lot easier to, have time to get into bands and all that. But anyway, that's something else on the side. That's something else we'll talk about later. So I want to take up all your time because your time is valuable. And if you did this podcast, I appreciate you. I just want to get my takes on the NFL at large. I just finished up, I was on delay by about half an hour to an hour. Clash of Champions, WWE Clash of Champions wrapped up a little while ago. I want to get my thoughts real quick on that. Maybe I'll write a little review on the site. We'll see what happens there. And I wanted to share some thoughts on Tim Tebow and his comments about the Fair Pay Act that is passed in California recently, and his thoughts that he had on First Take. As I think about it now, I wish I had audio for that. So maybe what I'll do is probably address the Tebow things tomorrow or Tuesday, and with the audio, so at least have a connection to that. Okay, so let me. I used to do a thing called Burning. I do a thing called Burning 7 on the blog normally, and basically the Burning 7 for years. What I've done is it's been like my takeaways of the NFL. Every week, Mondays, I just give my 7 takeaways of the week at large, and just kind of like give my reasons why what I feel. But I don't have time to write these days, to be honest with you. Like I as much as I want to write consistently as possible, and I'm trying to do that, with my schedule, it's just tough to do that. Like I did today, for example, like as much as I want to sit down and write, and this is kind of the challenge these days of watching football, for me anyway, and I'm not complaining because I love my life. I love married with two wonderful kids. I love my two sons. Are my world. But watching football when they're in the house, it's a little more of a challenge. I can't, I have Red Zone on, and sometimes it becomes background noise because if the kids need to eat dinner or lunch or anything of the sort, I got to be there to take care of that. And so sometimes I feel almost like I don't feel prepared to just speak my piece and be as clear as possible, especially in writing. When you're writing something down, because when you're writing, it's actually more detailed, and I kind of feel like maybe I'm not qualified to just jot those things down, but we'll try to do it here on the podcast. Like I said, this is the Unfiltered Podcast. Earthly Unfiltered. We're gonna keep trying to do this every day. Like I said, this show we've done off and on, whether it be on video, whether it be in the past, as is like we're doing now. And we'll see what we can do. Try to keep this consistent. Like I said, 10-15 minutes a day. At least almost daily. I'm not gonna promise every day because, like I said, things happen and schedule and all that. Okay, so. Here are my 7 takeaways from week 2 rather, in the NFL. Number 1, the Dallas Cowboys are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I don't care if you're a Cowboys hater. I don't care if you're a Cowboys lover. If you're looking at football, if you know football, if you watch the game, if you know the game, if you respect the game. And look, I understand that they played the Giants week 1, who were terrible. I know, so I'm a Giants fan. I can say that. I know that the Redskins are pretty much terrible as well, too. Probably 2 of the worst teams in the league. But I also say that style points also are overrated. But they've done the job in the way you're supposed to. They've beaten both teams, division rivals, in the way you're supposed to. And I gotta tell you, I watched this team these first 2 weeks, And this is like a team. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're in the conversation. I think they're certainly one of the 3 best teams right now in the league. We'll do our power rankings on later in a couple of days, and it will reflect. They're probably going to move up. They were number 3 last week. They're probably going to go number 2, most likely. And then Dak is just great. Dak Prescott, I mean, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. If he's not going to get paid $40 million, he'll get paid damn real close to it. Because I mean, what Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, has done with his offense, obviously, and we're not complaining about Jason Garrett. The defense has been solid. The team is great. The team is just they look like a big boy team. This is the most complete Cowboys team I think I've seen in quite a while. And again, I hate to say this, but it makes you wonder if Tony Romo had this kind of team with him in the years he played, the years he struggled with the Cowboys, going 8-8, 9-7. If Tony Romo had this kind of team around him, this team would be the absolute favorite to win the NFC every year. So it's timing, But the Cowboys are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, no doubt about that. Number 2, the Miami Dolphins are legitimate. Well, let me rephrase that. Not legitimate. The Miami Dolphins are a litigating disaster. They are the worst team in the league. It is not close. I think 0-16 in play. Now you hear rumors about possibly they're going to start Josh Rosen in week 3. I think might as well do that because Ryan Fitzpatrick was awful today. Awful. And it's sad, too, because I live in this area. Live in South Florida. I do like the Dolphins. They're not my favorite team. They're probably number 2 for me. So I do. You always root for the home team because you want this market to be kind of vibrant when it comes to sports. But it's kind of sad because the Dolphins suck, the Marlins suck, the Panthers are kind of, they're on the way up, I guess. I mean, the Heat are pretty good. I mean, they're a mediocre team, but they're still, they're not a finals contender. So, already the Dolphins season's over, and you just focus on the number one pick in the draft, and all that, and it kind of sucks. But they're probably going to 0-16. I mean, wouldn't surprise me. Maybe they win a game somewhere. I mean, I know they play the Giants this later in the year, the Redskins, but even the Giants-Redskins are much better than the Dolphins team. I might even say because I'm a Giants fan. I'm just saying it because it's true. The Dolphins are trying to tank. The Dolphins want to get the first pick in the draft. Their priorities are elsewhere. They're trying to. They have Kenyon Drake down on the trade block. Minka Fitzpatrick, the best player probably in defense on the trade block. I mean, really, what are you doing here? I mean, it's quite obvious what this team's trying to do. All right, number 3. The Falcons are frustrating as hell. The Atlanta Falcons are frustrating as hell. And I say that even with them winning tonight against Philadelphia. They still lost that game. I don't think they deserve to win that game. You're up 17-6. You have the foot on the throat. Matt Ryan throws 2 big picks in this game. Eagles get back in the game, take a lead. And then if Atlanta scores a late touchdown, you think, okay, it's all over there. And then they let the Eagles drive down the field. And look, I'm glad they won. Obviously, not an Eagles fan, of course, but they were a great team. They were my pick to go to the Super Bowl this year in the NFC. It's just frustrating because it's Atlanta team. Like, you want to take them seriously. They were in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. I know all the talk about blowing the lead in the Super Bowl, and I get that, but it's just. It must be tough to be a Falcons fan because you think the window was open as big as it was, and it wasn't that big because the NFC now is just tough. Now, the good news for the Falcons is, okay, Saints lose today. Drew Brees got hurt. Panthers are 0-2. The Bucs ain't that good. So, the NFC South is wide open. So, you win a game. You probably almost lost. And hopefully you can use this game as a stepping point to turn the season around. Losing to Minnesota last week in embarrassing fashion. I did pick Atlanta to win this game too, so I'm not surprised, but it's just they're frustrating because they can't take control of games. And this is why you can't trust them. Tonight's an example. Now they won, like I said, but that's why you can't trust them. All right, what else here? Number 3. I got 1, 2, 3. All right, number 4. I told everybody that the Colts will not fall off a cliff with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. And, like I said, I'm not saying he's Andrew Luck, but he's solid enough. He can start on 8 teams in the league easily. Okay, and that's not even including the Colts. And they could be easily 2-0. They could have won last week against the Chargers. They came back and they were in position to win that game last week in moments. this week, of course, go to Tennessee, a Titans team that came in and blew the doors off the Browns. We'll see how good they are this week, tonight against the Jets on the road on Monday Night Football. But I told you guys, the Colts won't fall off the cliff. Jacoby Brissett is a solid quarterback. They got a really good roster, and we'll see where it goes. AFC South, wide open. You got the Tennessee Titans on lose that game to the Colts. The Texans are 1-1. Didn't look impressive. I mean, they win today, but they look impressive against Jacksonville. Jaguars are 1-2. So again, AFC South's wide open. So somebody can take over here. And I guess at this point, none of these teams winning the South will surprise me, honestly. Number 5, rather. What was that? Wow. Well, one of my son's toys and records came on, actually. It's kind of crazy and spooky at the same time. Number 5, Lamar Jackson right now is the MVP 2 games in. Okay, now obviously it's only 2 games, so I'm not going to make a big deal about it. But at the same time, he's been phenomenal. And I think you can really say that Lamar Jackson has put the work in to get better. A lot of criticisms coming to the year about can he be a passing quarterback? Can he get the job done? And you can see 2 weeks in. Now, granted, he's playing 2 of the worst teams in football, but that doesn't matter. He looks the part. He's throwing the ball with great precision. He's, not forcing it. Hold on a second. I'm trying to take this thing off here. It's my son's toy. Let's see. I guess there's no up button. Okay, up button here. There we go. No, so he's throwing the ball with precision, and then he's running the ball when necessary. And again, he's been phenomenal. Again, 2 games against Dolphins and the Cardinals. So obviously he played 2 of the worst teams in the league. Although I gotta be honest, our Arizona has looked a lot better than we all, I think, gave him credit for. I mean, I thought the Cardinals might be the worst team in football this year, next to the Dolphins, and they tied the Lions today, in week 1, who lost beat the Chargers today at home, and then they were competitive against the Ravens today. So gotta give him credit there, but. Lamar Jackson right now, if I had to tell you right now, it's probably him or Mahomes. Which, by the way, my number 6 here, I didn't write it down, but I'm going to say it anyway. Patrick Mahomes right now is the best quarterback in the league right now. Most talented quarterback in the league. It's not even close. Got an argument with some people on Twitter today about when I said that, when I tweeted that. And I'm not saying he's better than Brady. I'm not saying he's better than... when I'm talking about career, I'm talking about right now in this moment, week 2, this season, 2019, who's the best quarterback. It's at a point now, when you include last year, what he did in his second year, but really his rookie season, and you include these first 2 games, it's without question he's the best quarterback in the league. What the point I'm making now is that I don't think it's a close second right now. I think he's just that good in a way where. You can't question that. That can't be questioned at this point. He's been phenomenal. And I want to, some people have said, well, was Andy Reid's system and all that. The system argument is so overrated because there is some truth to that. You could use the system argument as something to base an argument on. But Michael Jordan played in the system with Phil Jackson. It was called a triangle. We're not sitting there saying Michael Jordan's not the greatest player of all time. We're not arguing that fact. So why do we do that? To me, using the system argument is just a cop-out. Every single quarterback plays in a system, but some aren't reliant on a system. People saying, well, he was this good with McNabb and Alex Smith and Jeff Garcia, and that is true. But none of those guys ever had the talent that Mahomes has. None of these guys have ever had a season like last year that Mahomes last year. I mean, Mahomes these first 2 games. None of these guys. At no point were we ever saying that McNabb was the best quarterback in the league at any point of his career. Maybe top 5 in maybe 1 or 2 years. At one point, but we were never saying Mahomes was the best quarterback in the league. We're saying that now. We're saying in the league where Tom Brady still exists. Big Ben still exists. Russell Wilson exists. Aaron Rodgers exists. Deshaun Watson. A bunch of great. Drew Brees exist. We're saying that in an era where this isn't your quarterback, and we're saying that now in 2 years now. Mahomes is by far the most talented quarterback in the league right now, and right now it ain't close. It really ain't close, honestly. I mean, as good as Aaron Rodgers still is, to some degree, no, but Mahomes has passed him right now at this point. All right, finally, my last Burning 7 takeaway from the week. Despite being 2-0, I still don't know what to make of the Niners and the Bills. Now, more so the Niners. I think the Bills, to some degree, I think they are a solid team. I've said the Bills will probably be an 8-18, 7-9 and maybe they catch a break somewhere and crack a 9-win season. It's very possible. Let's see what Josh Allen does. I gotta say, Buffalo winning 2 games on the road, both in New York, as the Giants and Jets. Granted, both teams probably not good. The Jets will find out, although they don't have Darnold tonight and a couple of players. But you win games. You win the games you need to win, and the Bills have done that. Their defense has been very solid. Josh Allen's been solid. Not great, but he's had moments. And they're 2-0, and I think the Bills are a team, as you see now, teams come out the gate struggling, teams that we think might make the playoffs. Buffalo's winning the games they need to win. And this could be something that we look back at week 13, week 14, when if they're in a wild card race, because look, they're not catching New England. I know they're both 2-0, but it's not going to, trust me, when these two teams played, the Pats will put distance to themselves. But that being said, when we get into a wild card discussion by December, two of these wins are going to count. We'll look back and say, well, Buffalo was, they out the gate came out and took care of business. We'll see how that goes. But the Bills are definitely one of those teams I'm still trying to figure out. But right now, I think I have a little better understanding about the Buffalo Bills than I do the Niners. The Niners 2-0, granted both on the road too. Again, they beat Tampa first week. Now Tampa beat Carolina on week 2, but we don't know how good Carolina is. And then they blow out Cincinnati. I don't know. Cincy's one of the teams I thought would be the worst team in football. Granted, they were competitive last week in Seattle, but they dropped the ball today. So, 2 weeks in, I always say you really don't get a pulse of a team until you're at least 4 or 5 weeks in. And I think the Niners I'm still kind of on the fence with the Niners right now. They're definitely an 8-win team, 7 8-win team, but can they get over the hump? Garoppolo didn't look that great first week. I guess he's okay today. I don't know. We'll see. So, those are my 7 takeaways of the day from the NFL. Okay? So, that's out the way. Another thing I want to talk about here, I guess real quick. Now, I don't want to dive too much detailed. Clash of Champions WWE event just finished about an hour and a half ago. It was a solid event. I liked it. Best match of the night. I actually really... I think the best match of the night was actually the Becky Lynch Sasha Banks match. I thought it was really good. It's my first time seeing Sasha Banks really a singles match where she's actually on the platform, really seen her. I saw her in tag matches. Because remember, I got back to watching WWE for the first time in 17 years in June, and she left the company for a little while, took a leave in April after WrestleMania. So I hadn't seen her until she came back with Vengeance about a month ago. So I thought that was the best match of the night. I said on the Earnest Speaker podcast that there will be some Gaga involved in this match, and there was Gaga. It was a disqualification. Becky Lynch actually lost the match by DQ, but she retained the title with the Raw Women's title. A lot of Gaga there. Obviously, with the Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins losing the tag titles, not surprised there. I actually like the Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler tag team. I think they gave, again, Dolph Ziggler middling and mid-card stats for the last few months, and he hasn't really been used in a way. I've said it again. I think Dolph Ziggler is one of the most talented guys on the roster, and the more people boo him, the more people don't really care about him, the more I actually start to really become a bigger fan of his. And he's really, really good in the ring. He's great in the ring, and I'm glad that he's at least involved in something where it's be legitimized. And now he's a tag team champion with Robert Roode. And Robert Roode's actually, glorious Robert Roode's really, really good too. So I like him as well. So glad they won the match against Braun and Seth Rollins. Although I'm a Braun guy too. Shinsuke Nakamura beating The Miz. I was a little surprised to some degree. But I'll say it again. Like I said on a preview show on Thursday with G. Sami Zayn being his advocate, his manager, Nakamura's manager and advocate, it's great. I'll go. It might be a bold statement. I'll say it anyway. I think Sami Zayn might be the best person on that roster, the best person on the mic on that roster. He is phenomenal on the mic. Phenomenal. Like, this is not blasphemous, obviously, because Bobby Heenan was the greatest of all time, probably, in terms of manager. But Sami Zayn has Bobby Heenan potential. Like, in terms of just being a disruptor, if you will. Great on the mic. Very, very witty. But he can fight in the ring, too. Bobby Heenan was actually, I'll say Bobby was a great wrestler, but he was involved until his back issues really late in his career. He did get involved, took some bumps, of course. I can see Sami Zayn, that could be his role. Because he's another guy middling in mid-card status and not really nothing to do. Him being an advocate for Nakamura, maybe another guy down the road too. I mean, I can see that happening. I can see that being a thing. What else stood out in the women's New Day lose the tag titles to Revival? That was kind of weird how that whole played out. Let me see. Kofi beating Randy Orton clean. That was really cool. That was a good match, a good ending. And I think this could, Kofi's sort of kind of stale a little bit in the last month or so. His run, maybe to beat Randy Orton might put a little more juice back into his run. That's good. Seth Rollins, of course, beat Braun Strowman, no surprise there. But the biggest thing of the entire card was The Fiend, as I predicted on the Speaking Podcast, that he'll be involved some way, somehow. And that the entire pay-per-view closed with The Fiend attacking Seth Rollins at the end of the match. When he goes up the ramp, the place goes dark, and you see The Fiend attack him with the Mandible Claw. That was phenomenal. Right now, The Fiend is probably the biggest, most popular star. Definitely the most pop right now of anybody on the roster currently. And I think now this is going to put him back into the championship conversation, probably. He's probably him and Seth Rollins probably meet in Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series down the road. We'll see how they write that out. Oh, yeah, also the Roman Reigns, Eric Rowan match. Eric Rowan wins the match by virtue of his old tag partner. I think it was Luke something for his name. His old tag team partner came in and helped. That was pretty cool, actually. We'll see how that goes going forward. Wyatt family stuff. Again, I didn't watch, but that was still a thing. So, it was a solid pay-per-view. I mean, it wasn't the best one, obviously, but there was some good moments on the show. And that's all you really can ask for at this point. So, I'll call it there. I'll address the Tim Tebow stuff tomorrow on the Tomorrow Show if I do a show tomorrow. I want to add audio with that first. I want to bring audio to the show with it so I can kind of bridge it properly. So that'll do it for today's podcast. So I'm gonna go to sleep now because I got to. Follow me on Twitter, EachPerson7, Ernst Media, ErnstChicken.net. Be good. Talk to you guys later. God bless y'all. Take care. See ya.